We're about to solve a system of nonlinear equations. Remember, when solving a system of nonlinear equations, you still have the methods of elimination or addition and also substitution. So let's look at our system of equations. I want to solve these simultaneously. By the way, if you want to think about the graphs of these, this happens to be a circle and this is a hyperbola, so you can imagine the number of points of intersection you can have when solving simultaneously. But let's solve this using the addition or elimination method since the x squares are lined up and the y squareds are lined up. So I want the coefficients of the x squareds or the coefficients of the y squareds to be opposites of each other. Why don't I take this second equation and multiply it through by -1, then the coefficients of x squared will be opposites. I'll rewrite my first equation again. X squared plus y squared is equal to 26. Now I'll multiply through by -1. -1 times x squared, that's -x squared. -1 times -2y squared, that's positive 2y squared, and then do not forget -1 times 23, that's -23. Notice now the x squareds subtract out like I want. Y squared plus 2y squared is 3y squared, and 26 minus 23 is 3. To solve, let's divide both sides by 3, and we'll have y squared is 1. Then do not forget how to solve this. If y squared is 1, y is plus or minus the square root of 1, which is plus or minus 1. So thus far, it looks like we have 2 points of intersection, one with a y value of +1 and one with a y value of -1. So thus far, we have a y value of 1 and we have a y value of -1. Let's keep that in mind and let's find corresponding x values. Now, how do we find corresponding x values? We plug in 1 for y, solve for x, then we plug in -1 for y and solve for x. And it makes no difference which equation we choose. I'll choose the first one, x squared plus, I'll let y be 1. 1 squared is 26. So x squared plus 1 is 26, or x squared is 25. Be very careful when solving. X, remember, by that square root property, is plus or minus the square root of 25, which is plus or minus 5. So when y is 1, we get +5, and when y is 1, we also get -5. When y is 1, we get +5, and when y is 1, we got -5. Now what happens when y is -1? If y is -1, watch what happens. What is -1 squared? -1 squared is also 1, and we end up with these values for x again. So when y is -1, I get 5, and when y is -1, I get -5. This system has 4 solutions, which means that these two graphs intersect in 4 points.